Hello, dear viewers. Today I'm going to be talking about the trial of Donald Trump in the United States. Let's begin. Hello. Today I'm talking about nationalism in a country outside South Asia. The country I'm talking about today is United States. And the topic for today is Donald Trump and the court trials that he is undergoing. Uh, the where various state governments and the federal government have initiated proceedings against him for his actions as president and also before president. They these include things like that are personal to him, such as paying hush money allegedly to cover up an affair, paying or and also his activities in the as a president, where he allegedly uh, went beyond presidential immunity and tried to uh, upset the election and did change, basically invalidate the election of 2020. And so Democrats basically believe that he is guilty of all the crimes charges, and in obviously Republicans are claiming he's innocent, and I just want to look into it from an outsider's perspective as an Indian nationalist. Let's get started. First, let's look at the indictments themselves. In 2023, four criminal indictments were filed against Donald Trump, President of the United States, from 2017 to 2021. Two indictments are on state charges, one in New York and one in Georgia, and two indictments, as well as one superseding indictment, are on federal charges, one in Florida and one in the District of Columbia. These indictments amount to a total of 88 felony charges. The New York trial began on April 15, 2024. The District of Columbia trial was put on hold in February 2024 while waiting for the Supreme Court to determine whether Trump is immune from prosecution. The Georgia trial has not yet been scheduled, and the Florida trial is in flux, awaiting a ruling from the judge. So, totally four trials will be held against Trump. So, this shows that the Democrats are doing everything they can to get him in some legal punishment. Now, I'm just going to be focusing on the two trials that are currently on because the Georgia trial and Florida trial is not yet started. And so the trials I'm talking about today are the New York trial and the District of Columbia trial, which is happening in the Supreme Court. And the New York trial involves Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels' Donald Trump scandal involves allegations of an affair between Donald Trump and porn star Stormy Daniels, alleged hush money payments by Trump to Daniels to buy her silence during Trump's 2016 campaign for US presidency, and allegations Trump falsified business records to further bury the story in the run up to the election. On 12th January 2018, the Wall Street Journal reported that in October 2016, just before the 2016 United States presidential election, Michael Cohen, lawyer for then presidential candidate Donald Trump, arranged a payment of $130,000 to Stormy Daniels to stop her disclosing an affair she and Trump allegedly had in July 2006. Besides allegations about the fair sale, the acknowledged payment raised legal and ethical questions as whether the payment violated federal campaign finance laws, either because the payment was not fully disclosed as campaign contribution or because campaign funds may have been used towards the payment. Cohen said he paid the money out of his own pocket, not as a campaign contribution, and that neither the Trump organization nor Trump campaign reimbursed him for making it. On April 5th, Trump said he had no knowledge of Cohen's payment, but on April 26th admitted for the first time that Cohen represented him in the Stormy Daniels case. And Rudy Giuliani said that Trump had reimbursed Cohen for the payment. So it's hard to know who is telling the truth. Uh, Cohen stated under oath that he paid her in coordination with and at the direction of a candidate for federal office in August. So this is not what he said. Uh, this is kind of different from what he said in February. And then, so what is the actual case that happened? What are the facts of the case? In October 2011, both the blog The Dirty and the magazine Life and Style published the first reports of an alleged July 2006 affair between Trump and Daniels. The latter took a polygraph test. The gossip magazine In Touch Weekly chose not to publish the interview after Cohen threatened to sue the magazine. Cohen paid Daniels $130,000 in October 2016, and Cohen denied the existence of an affair, but he acknowledged that he paid Daniels $130,000. What are the legal matters? Common Cause filed complaints with the Department of Justice and the FEC claimed that the payment to Daniels was campaign contribution and that the Trump campaign violated campaign finance laws. However, several members of Trump's legal team denied the payment related to the campaign and said claiming that it was a personal payment. And Daniels filed a civil suit in an attempt to nullify the non-disclosure agreement between Trump and her on March 6, 2018. The hearing was set for the July, but it was pushed back. And now what's happening? Former President Donald Trump is on trial in New York City, where he is facing felony charges related to this case of Stormy Daniels. It is the first time in history that the former US president has been tried on criminal charges. He pleaded not guilty to a 34-count indictment of a hush money payment. And four criminal indictments were okay. And then what's happening in the Trump immunity case? Trump versus United States is a pending US Supreme Court case in which this court will determine whether and to what extent presidential immunity from criminal prosecution exists. This is because of the current Biden government. The Department of Justice claims that Trump's actions after the and during the 2020 election were criminal and that he should be criminally charged. In Nixon versus Fitzgerald, the Supreme Court held that the president is immune from prosecution in civil cases. However, in Clinton versus Jones, it held that the president is liable for civil damages for actions committed prior to assuming the presidency. In United States versus Nixon and Trump versus Vance, the Supreme Court limited the president's privilege within the judicial process. In Trump versus Vance, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that the president is not categorically above the common duty to produce evidence when called upon in a criminal proceeding. Now, the Supreme Court has appeared ready to reject former President Donald Trump's claims of sweeping immunity and the broad protections he has sought to shut down his federal election subversion case, but also reluctant to give special counsel Jack Smith carte blanche to pursue those charges. And the Supreme Court seems unlikely to fully resolve the immunity issues. Uh, Trump's attorney concedes some acts may be private and not official. Trump's attorney John Sauer acknowledged that some of the alleged conduct supporting the criminal charges against the former president were private. This is different from what Trump had earlier said, which was that he was completely immune. So we can see that a lot of judicial pressure is being put on Trump, and I'm 100% sure that this is just done for political reasons, and that this is basically uh, political harassment of a candidate in the current election. And it's not illegal, but it is incredibly undemocratic, which is very ironic coming from the current Democrats who claim to be champions of democracy, and the United States itself, which often lectures other countries to not violate the rights of their political opponents, including my country. The US often lectures us about democracy. So, yeah, this seems quite hypocritical. And the US has now lost any moral high ground to lecture other countries when they and their governments try and imprison their political opponents. And but I am very sympathetic to Trump. This is wrong. This is not the way America is supposed to be governed. And I don't think that these cases are so terrible that they require uh, Trump to be tried like this. It's not like I don't think he tried to overturn the election. He tried to oppose the results of the election, saying that they were fake, false, and he wanted them to be recounted. I'm not a lawyer, American lawyer at that, and I don't know if that is legally possible or not. But I don't think that calling for that, asking for that, protesting for that, which he did, and which his supporters did on January 6, 2021, is immoral. I don't. I think they have a right, a human right by natural law, to ask for that, even if it's not legally possible for the government to do it. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about this. It's because uh, it doesn't seem like the government is doing this innocently, but seems to be acting as a way to get Trump in jail and to so that he doesn't become president. Well, could. It's not legal for American president to a potential candidate to continue to run after being imprisoned, but it may really hurt his chances to get votes. So this is kind of election interference. For the Stormy Daniels case, I don't really understand what the criminality is, what the illegality is. If indeed they paid Stormy Daniels money to stay silent about an actual affair, which Trump has denied, mind you, then I don't think that that's illegal. I think that that's just an agreement that they made as adults, a proper contract. And if it was done to prevent her from speaking to the media, again, that's not illegal. Um, it's immoral, in my opinion. I think that the media should not be bought out like that by any political candidate or any politician. And but I don't think it's illegal. And I was watching Viva Fry and Stick Sex and Hammer 666 and other YouTubers who have said that this is basically completely novel way of looking at how political campaigns are run. If silencing a report about that would make you look bad, you a candidate look bad, then that doesn't make sense because that's basic campaigning that politicians do. As for the immunity, In my country, the prime minister or the other members of parliament are not immune from criminal prosecution. However, they MPs, members of parliament, and members of legislative assemblies are immune from prosecution for any of their acts committed or any of the things said in the parliament or legislative assemblies by them. And I guess that the US system is different, or we're going to see how different it is with the how this case goes. But I hope that America doesn't become some country where the president loses his most of it or all of his immunity and is just criminally prosecuted with each incoming administration. That's kind of like a banana republic stuff, and I think luckily India hasn't had something like that, and I fear that if the US goes down this path, then my country and others will be encouraged to do the same. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you want to see other videos about nationalism in countries outside South Asia, click here. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I use for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Vande Mataram.